Welcome to my Supreme, Commencal Supreme. My goal for this year was to build the best downhill bike in the world. Not the lightest, not the fanciest, the best performing downhill bike in the world. We've got some amazing parts. Carbon Manitou Dorado 37 RRT, one of one in the world. Custom Cane Creek double barrel heritage shock, limited edition. Probably the last one in the world for sale. I've got it. Braking brakes, all this amazing stuff. But of course, nothing is ever so simple. We've already got problems. Starting off with this Commencal Supreme frame, which I got used. Stripped the paint off it. First problem, swing arms cracked. Second problem, the main frame is also cracked. And I haven't even touched this one yet. But like all the other bikes, cracked. Everything's cracked, always cracked. I had one of these 29-inch wheeled Supreme V4 frames in 2019 when I was at Pink Bike. Just as the bike came out, I had it to test. I had a bunch of other bikes on test at the same time, all 29ers, similar builds, did loads of back-to-back riding, and the Supreme for me was the clear winner. Hopefully I was proven right, because judging by the success of these bikes over the last 2, 3, 4 seasons, from regional races, privateers to World Cup podiums, this is probably the most successful downhill bike of the last 4 or 5 years. Last year, I bought the newer version, the updated version of this bike, the mullet wheels, longer chainstay, plus slightly different kinematics. I bought that bike because the Canyon Sender I bought to review was broken, and the Norco I bought to review was also broken. So out came the credit card, got the new version and tested it last year. We still got that downstairs. That's probably one of the best bikes I've ever ridden. No, definitely the best bike I've ever ridden. That thing is unbelievable. But during the testing of the new bike, there were some aspects I didn't like as much as I remember the old version. So I thought I want to make a mix of the two, the best aspects of each bike put together to make the perfect downhill bike for me, my height, my weight, my riding style, and also the bike parks and downhill tracks that I go to. I picked up this frame on the buy and sell. Got it from the UK, used, I swapped it for some parts. I did get a bargain. And at the same time, I ordered all the best parts I could think of, my favourite parts, and a few other things I'd like to try out. The goal being to make the ultimate dream build downhill bike. So the next thing I did after ordering some of the best parts in the world was to get Redburn Design in Ireland to redesign the linkage and the dropouts to do a few different things, which we won't go into. But that moves on to the next problem, that BTR Fabrications, an old friend in the UK, was machining the dropouts and the linkage for me. Then his CNC machine blew up somehow, and it's going to take months and thousands of euros for him to get a new machine. So the linkage is the second major problem. My goal was to get all this bike together, get it polished, do a dream build video, all the usual stuff, but just problems, 2 major problems. So we're going to get into it, get it built, start riding it, and take you guys through the process over the next few months of going from a broken dream to hopefully a finished dream, but we'll see. This was a used frame. I should have inspected it properly beforehand and found these cracks. I didn't. So this was my fault really. I didn't check it properly. But it leads me on to the fact I would not recommend anyone buying a used Commencal downhill frame, because yeah, the swing arm's cracked and this part just doesn't even look right to me. One side's got a nice hole, the other side's got this strange elongated hole. You can see where the pressure point has been building up and it's cracking right at the end of the hole. This was sort of hidden behind the linkage, so even if I did inspect it properly, I wouldn't have seen it, and it would have been covered by the paint or the lacquer in this case. The same with the crack on the front end. It's only a micro crack, which you would never see through the paint, and it was also the same as the swing arm, covered completely by the linkage, so you'd never see it. So if you're looking at buying a used Supreme frame, I wouldn't buy one, because I posted this on Instagram last week and I had loads of people messaging me saying they had similar problems, friends who have had 2 or 3 warranty replacements. I saw one on the trail last year, completely snapped in half in Morzine. And the problems all seem to be in the same place, because essentially as the bike compresses and bottoms out, it's just trying to rip itself in half. I'm going to preface this short theory with the fact I'm not an engineer, I'm not a bike designer, I'm not an aluminium materials expert, but I think what's causing this cracking problem which might be the reason why there's a new model for next year with a completely different design. Imagine huge impact, front and rear bottomed out at the same time. Most of your weight is going through the BB, through your feet down. The rest of your weight is going into the handlebar. The fork, when it's bottomed out, is now trying to go this way and lever the frame forwards and trying to snap the head tube off. At the same time, the rear wheel is going off in this direction. And we just bodge this together for a demonstration. So front wheel is going that way, rear wheel is going this way. Both wheels are trying to go away from each other. So this is compressing the shock here in this area. But when this bottoms out, the shock and the top part of the link is trying to go forwards. This part of the link and the swing arm is trying to go straight backwards. And when it bottoms out, you get a huge lock, everything stops. And this is going to massively force pressure between, I think, between this main pivot and the secondary pivot linkage rocker. So while this doesn't seem like a great design in terms of durability and the construction of the frame, it's sort of a result of the other features, characteristics of the bike that Commencal want. It's got the high pivot, that's great. It's got the rearward axle path, that's great. It's got a pulled linkage, which is much better than a pushed linkage. But there's only a certain amount of ways you can package these bikes. You've got to fit the wheels in, the shock, the cranks, the chain, all these things. So I think it's a great design in terms of the riding characteristics. The durability side of it, not really a good design. Again, I'm not an engineer, but they have had multiple breaks and completely redesigned the frame for 2023. So I think that's the proof that it's needed updating. So yeah, a used aluminium downhill frame, probably not the best idea. I didn't inspect this one properly. If you are going to buy one, make sure you inspect it properly. Take it all apart, get the links off, have a look around, check the paint's not cracked. Because, yeah, for me, not really a problem. I'm testing bikes, I've got loads of bikes. But if you'd saved up and bought this bike used to build your own dream bike, your dream might be ruined on day one. So clearly, these are very small cracks, but they're big enough to make me think it's not worth continuing properly polishing the frame into a finished, nice product, because they are small cracks, but they're definitely going to get worse. They're not too bad that it's unrideable, so we are going to continue, build up the bike, do the initial testing, keep an eye on it, check they don't get any worse, and not do any stupid hooks or jumps, ride it sensibly. I already sourced a new swing arm on the Pink Bike buy and sell. For some reason, there was a guy selling just a brand new swing arm on its own, warranty replacement. And there's also quite a few other people selling front ends on their own or rear ends on their own, which again suggests warranty problems, cracking, lots of spare random front and rear ends around. So the first thing, Manitou Dorado Pro. This is a pretty special piece of kit anyway, as standard. We've gone 2 steps further. First step, this has been fully prepared by Rulesman, RRT tuning. It's got custom anodized crowns, tie bolts, anodized adjusters. All the surfaces have been tweaked or tuned, aligned, bushings have been done. Well, I don't know exactly what he's done to it. He's done a lot of good stuff. This is as close to a Supercross fork as you can get in mountain biking. This, I can already feel it. It's going to be amazing. And not only has it had the RRT treatment, we've gone another step further and we've matched the air spring rate to the linkage rate of the rear suspension of the link that now isn't being made because the machine's broken. We've also trying to match the damping curve from the fork calculated against the linkage to the rear shock. So we should have very similar damping and leverage ratios front and rear. Yeah, super interesting. I've never seen anyone do that before or even talk about it. So either it's going to be amazing or I'll be completely wrong, but let's see. What should it do? Well, I don't understand why bike designers design a linkage that they normally want to be progressive, and then a fork they want this coil-like feel, and then you get one fork with one feeling or theory, then you get one frame with a different theory, put them together, put a different shock on it, and expect it all to work together in harmony. My theory is, and it's only a theory because we haven't tested it yet, if you match the air spring curve, the leverage ratio, you should be able to have the same leverage ratio front and rear. Then you can also match the damping front and rear. And in my mind, this is going to give a much better balanced bike and easier to set up, easier to predict, better grip front and rear, rather than taking random things and putting them together and trying to get a good product out of it. So this is just a theory at the moment, interested to see what happens. And I know instantly people are going to comment saying, oh, you haven't thought of this, or you haven't thought of this, but I do know there are other things happening, and the fork is different to a linkage. And we've got anti-squat to think about, anti-rise to think about, all these different things. But moving on to the shock, again, prepped by Rulesman. In theory, the new linkage plus a normal spring should match the air spring of the fork. The damping of the shock should also be very similar to the damping of the fork. Hopefully, we're going to get a really balanced, easy to ride, predictable, next level mountain bike. Yeah, and gold. That's definitely going to be faster. That bit's silver, which matches that silver, so that's fast. The tyres have got yellow bits, the grips have got gold bits, the brakes have got gold bits. That's the main job really, just get the colours coordinated. Next thing, these braking brakes. Haven't tried these yet. If I knew the frame was cracked, I would have put these on another bike and tried them. The same with the suspension. But we were waiting to do this build. But these are super nice looking things. Made in Italy, pretty expensive. They feel fantastic. They look amazing. It's from a motocross brand making mountain bike brakes. Their website's quite interesting to read. Terrible website, but quite interesting. They simply improved the ratios of pistons and made them bigger than any other mountain bike brake. So they should be the most powerful brakes on the market. We'll see. As standard, braided hose, just like motorbikes. Plastic hoses, I've said this enough times, waste of time, dangerous. Your life literally can depend on the little bit of oil in these brakes. Nice product. I've ordered a 3mm spacer and the 3mm rotors to add to these. So 3mm thick rotors should be, well, they should have a number of improvements. Heat dissipation, they should stay straighter for longer, there should be less vibration. Super interested to try those out. Very nice bit of kit. So this build, in my mind, is all about pure performance. It's not about making the most pretty bike or having the matching colours that we're joking about. Like Danger Home and Cornelius from Intend, who I know both of those guys. They did a ultimate downhill bike a couple of years ago, but it was mainly focused on lightweight and pretty parts. That's not what I'm here for. We're going for performance. One aspect of performance in a mountain bike is you're trying to create a lag between the bumps that you're hitting and your body, which takes me on to the next products. These funky suspension handlebars and these rev grips. I have tested these handlebars in the past and the initial testing was very positive. I didn't test them enough to get a really good opinion on them, but I brought a new set. These are 12-degree back sweep, which is the same as most of the other bars that I use. So yeah, that should help create this lag between the bumps and your body. Same with the rev grips. The rev grips essentially isolate the lock-on part of the grip from the handlebar so it can move, it can rotate, and it can move up and down, backwards and forwards, even side to side slightly. Again, creating a lag from the bump to your body. Last couple of bits and pieces. Saint crank. These must be 10 years old now. We swapped from one of the other bikes that we're building. Solid. There's nothing wrong with these cranks. Yeah, they might be a bit heavy, a bit old-fashioned, whatever. It's a crank. I just want it to be strong and functional. That's all that matters. We're going to polish them up, make them look a bit cuter. Yeah, simple cranks. Next thing, -2 degree works angle headset. I'll try and make a brief explanation of this. Last year I had Commencal Supreme and Canyon Sender. Rode them back to back. They had the same head angle on the flat or on paper, but the Canyon we were running just over 30% sag. The Commencal, you have to run much less sag, about 17 to 19%, which makes a massive difference to the head angle when you're riding. So yeah, despite both bikes being the same on paper, the Canyon was much slacker to ride compared to the Supreme. Yeah, 2 degree angle set should sort that out. Last few bits and pieces. Trailhead / Bergtech saddle, the East Ridge. I bought all these parts. This one was a freebie from my friend Sandy, who runs a great bike shop, the Trailhead in Shrewsbury. Well recommended if you're in the area, and yeah, he just gave me that seat and I thought, nice bike to put it on. Finally, the SB1 single speed. 2 reasons for this. One, I already had it and don't want to spend loads of money on gears. They just can get smashed into things. Second, I'm not racing and probably not going to race this bike. I don't think I need gears. Thirdly, it's going to be lighter than a cassette and derailleur, so should further improve the suspension performance. Tyres, never tried these before, but the new Continental Cryptotal front and Argo Tal rear. Strange names. The names have no indication if they're for mud or dry or anything like that. But this is a soft condition front tyre specific. and I think this is the front or rear intermediate. The rubber feels absolutely amazing. Really soft, really squidgy. Casing feels good, smells nice. Made in Germany. Yeah, really interested to try these out, see if they're better than the Michelin tyres, which I'm a big fan of. Final thing, the correct wheels for this bike haven't turned up, so we've done a little bit of swapping around. Just have these Hope hubs with Stan's Flow rims, which nothing special. We took them from the orange. The orange has now got some new nice wheels. So yeah, we're going to run these for the initial testing, but I do have a very nice set of wheels on order, which should arrive soon and should also add to this theory of improving or increasing the lag from the bump to the rider, which should improve all kind of riding, should make it easier, should make it more predictable, should make it more grippy. So yeah, interesting wheels coming up. First ride, Stan's Flow, nothing wrong with them. Quite a compliant wheel. The spoke tensions have been dropped on this. Hope hubs, can't go wrong. So yeah, we're gonna get it built up, and next weekend we're going to the bike park, we're gonna ride it back to back with the other Commencal. Hopefully it won't snap in half or into four. Both tracks went at the same time.